Salutations, spooks, spirits, and specters, and welcome back to Senran Kagura Burst Renewal! Moving on to Chapter 3, not Chapter 3, Chapter 2's Mission 3. Intercept Hebijo. Students from Hebijo Academy are attacking us. Show these evil shinobi the results of your training. I'm gonna guess Asuka. Okay, there wasn't even a single mission there. Okay. The sword's tip paints a straight line of silver. Hien, the sword I wield, is a blade of superlative quality, an heirloom passed down in my family. I bear the weight of its long history. I return Hien to its sheath and let out a breath. My swings are starting to feel lackluster. My endless training is beginning to tire me. I cannot afford to cut corners in dealing with Hebijo. However, pushing myself when I am not at my best will avail me nothing. Indeed, it will only cause harm. I return to the ninja room and sit quietly. I focus on settling my thoughts and breathing, then see to maintaining Hien. I lay Hien down and bow before it, then undo the rivet on the hilt to remove the hilt itself. I use paper and wipe the blade clean of oil and dirt a dozen times. Then I powder it from the metal collar at the hilt to the very tip. The proper care of a Japanese sword is an act of respect for one's ancestors, as well as a means of sharpening the mind. It must be done with exquisite care, no matter how tired one may be. As I finish, Asuka and my other friends arrive. After exchanging morning greetings, she begins a lively conversation. Through the rigorous training that shortly follows, Asuka never once loses her bright and cheerful expression. In all honesty, her strength of will surprises me. No matter the pain or difficulty she faces, she greets it all with a smile. That is no mean feat, however it might sound. As class representative, I take great pains to keep my classmates organized. But Asuka seems to accomplish the same task without even thinking about it, and always with her trademark cheerfulness. It causes me to wonder if, perhaps, she might not be a better fit to lead the class than I. As I lose myself in my thoughts, Master Kiria walks into the classroom. Predictably, Katsuragi raises her voice to complain. Master lets out a sigh. Katsuragi reluctantly gives assent. Then Hibari decides to speak. Asuka raises her hand. With that, Asuka leans forward and quickly puts pencil to paper. Just as quickly, she puts her pencil down and smiles jubilantly.
はい、できました。
It's a family tree of 3 generations: her grandfather, mother, and herself. Her grandfather, Hanzo, is a famous shinobi.
私の家系はじっちゃんとお母さんが忍びです。お父さんは一般の人なので、私が忍びになるのはちょっと反対しているんですけど、でも私はじっちゃんみたいな強い忍びになりたいんです。
Katsuragi and Yagyu both write in silence.
数えきれないよ。めんどくさいよ。
Hibari moans in a typically childish fashion. She comes from a long line of shinobi. Given the sheer number of ancestors, I imagine it would be difficult to write them all down.
どうした、イカルガ。手が止まっているぞ。
Master Kiria says, peering intently at my hand. I've stopped working just when my family tree is almost finished.
すみません。すぐに取り掛かります。
When I think of my family, my thoughts invariably drift to my older brother. He is studying business management, following in the footsteps of father. In truth, however, he wished to become a shinobi. I finished the family tree by writing my own name. It's simply a straight line from the head of the family to me. My brother's name is not included. My name is where his would have been. Time has not made it any less of a burden to bear, and my eyes begin to well.
あれ、イカルガさん、どうしたの？
Asuka has noticed my predicament.
なんでもありませんわ。
I force a smile. In such situations, I can smile with little effort. Lunchtime! There's a pleasant breeze, so we decide to eat outside. We spread a mat underneath a tree and set up a picnic. Yagyu immediately begins eating her dried squid.
またスルメ食べてる。スルメをバカにするな。
As I listen to Hibari and Yagyu's exchange, I spread out a multi-course meal.
私としたことが。
I realize I haven't yet set out the tea. I always make sure to have Japanese tea alongside the meal.
すぐに戻りますね。
I go to retrieve the Japanese tea set from the ninja room. When I get there, I sense a presence.
誰？
I take a shuriken in hand, and moments later, a man stumbles out before me.
おいおい、物騒だな。
It's my brother. His hair is unkempt, his skin sickly pale. In the short time since I last saw him, he's come to look very unhealthy.
久しぶりだな、妹よ。
He holds Hien in his hand.
お兄様？ヒエンをどうなさるのですか？
どうなさる？どうなさるときたか。
A cynical smile dances on his face as he speaks.
これは俺のものだ。どうしようと俺の勝手だ。
違います。それは私がお父様とお母様か。
That's as far as I get before I close my mouth.
お父様とお母様からよくもまあ抜けた。
His eyes darken with hatred. I find myself unable to meet his gaze.
ああそうだよ。俺には飛燕を使いこなせないさ。だけどこれは我が家に伝わる宝刀なんだ。血のつながらない他人が持ってちゃいけないもんなんだよ。
His words cut me to the bone. He's right. Of course he is. I'm not father and mother's child by birth. I was adopted to succeed them in the path of the shinobi.
飛燕は俺が、本当は俺が。
He glares at me, grinding his teeth in anger. On the surface, a wealthy financial group. Beneath, shinobi. That is my family. Father had one child, and he tried to send him down the path of the shinobi. Indeed, my brother had even wanted it. But Murasame failed the Hanzo entrance exam. Unfortunately, he had no aptitude as a shinobi.
お前さえいなければ。
He holds Hien in his hand. When father heard of a distant relative who was unusually fleet of foot, he was quick to begin adoption proceedings. Perhaps if I weren't around, father wouldn't have considered adoption, and Murasame wouldn't have been hurt. Thus my sorrow when looking at my family tree. It doesn't have my brother's name, as it ought to. Instead, there is my name, which doesn't belong. I am deeply sorry for the pain this has caused him. If it would help, I would prostrate myself before him and apologize any number of times. But the passing down of Hien is another matter. Mother and father expressly told me, do not give Hien to anyone else.
すみません。飛燕を返してください。
My voice is lined with frost.
だったら取ってみろよ。
Hien is already in my hand before Murasame can finish his boastful command. He shakes his head in confusion and gapes as he realizes what just transpired.
くそ。
His face bright red, he draws a chain sickle from his inside pocket. He begins swinging the weighted end of the chain.
お兄様、おやめください。
俺は小学生の時、鎖釜大会で兄弟6位になったんだ。
The weighted chain flies out and wraps around my body.
どうだこれで動けないだろう。
お兄様、私はこちらです。
What my brother had mistaken for me was actually an afterimage left behind by my swift movement.
お気をつけて。
I pull a rope that hangs from the ceiling. The floorboards beneath Murasame drop open. He falls. This very simple trap will lead him directly to the shopping district. Even he should have no trouble finding his way home from there. I hear a curse from the bottom of the hole. I pull the rope a second time. The floorboards close, reverting to their normal pattern. I clench Hien tightly in my hand. A weighty wetness builds along my eyes.
イカルガさん
I blink at the sound of Asuka's voice.
どうしたの？なかなか戻ってこないから。
いえ、何でもありませんわ。さ、外に戻りましょう。
I surreptitiously wipe the tears before they can even fall, so as not to be noticed.
あ、待って。戻る前にこれ見てください。
She's brought out a family tree from her desk. It's not simply a family tree. It includes everyone in the shinobi class all lined up like a family. Myself as the mother, Katsuragi as the father, then Asuka, Yagyu, and Hibari as the children.
私たち5人って家族みたいなものだなって思って、それで書いてみたんだ。
I stare at the family tree as my vision blurs once again. It's okay to have my name listed here. In my shinobi class, I have another family. The tears flood generously down my cheeks.
あ、イカルガさん、どうしたの？なんで泣いているの？
I no longer feel the need to hide my tears.
なんか悲しいことでもあったの？
Asuka looks quite flustered.
悲しいことなんかありません。
I make no move to wipe my face. Instead, I smile broadly.
嬉しくて泣いているんです。ありがとう、アスカさん。
At my expression of gratitude, Asuka simply stares in bewilderment.
今日の修行も疲れたな。でも弱音を吐いてちゃいられない。もっと強くならなきゃ。
もう終わりか？
ホムラちゃん、どうしてもヘビジョの人たちとは戦わなくちゃいけないのかな。戦わずに済む方法ってないのかな。これは隠れ結界？感じる。一人、二人、かなりの数の忍びが辺りに潜んでいる。
これで邪魔者は入ってこない。
あ、ホムラちゃん？
おとなしく超秘伝忍法書をよこせ。さもなくば校内にいる生徒は皆殺しだ。
関係ない人たちまで巻き込むの？どうしてそんな汚いことを？
Because she is an evil shinobi?
汚い？当たり前だろ。忍びっていうのは汚いことをするもんさ。
違う、そんなの忍びの道じゃない。
だったら忍びの道ってのは何なんだ？
それは私にもまだよくわからないんだけど。 今は分からなくてもいつかちゃんと言えるようになるから。
言えるようになんてならないね。なぜならお前はここで死ぬんだから。さっきから感じているだろう、部下たちの気配を。
どうする？どうしたらいいの？アスカさん。
一人対大勢ってのは感心しないね。
みんな来てくれたんだね。よーし、やるよ。
イカルが舞い忍びます。任務開始。
Oh.
まだまだ遅い。とどめ。おっと、とどめ。おっと、おっと、遅い。体に力が。忍び転戦。
Oh, was this enemies have files?クラス委員として当たり前ですわ。
お前たちなかなかやるじゃないか。どうだ、ヘビ女対半蔵、1対1でやらないか。
1対 1？
ああ、アスカはもちろん 私とだ。
わかった。いいよ。
どうせならもっと広い場所で戦おうじゃないか。お前たちもその方がいいだろう。校内の生徒を気にしなくて済むだろうし。
それじゃあどこで戦うの？
とりあえずこれを読め。
手紙？私たちがそれぞれ行くべき場所が書いてある。これは行くしかないよね。
この評価なら妥当ですね。
Okay, color me impressed. I had a whole complaint about like, oh, why do I have to swap the ninja, the shinobi to match the mission? They should do that. That should only be in blah blah blah. And yet, here I am, slapped in the face because I know I picked Asuka, but they're like, nope, you're playing Ikaruga. I shall take my piece of humble pie and, you know, I will stuff my face with crow because I didn't know what the heck I was talking about because I'm apparently wrong. Oh my goodness. Right. Asuka looks a bit determined here. Katsuragi's ready for a fight. Yagyu is Yagyu. Ikaruga has her own set of determination. And Hibari is hyped up. Alright. And with that, we'll leave it here. So thank you all very much for watching. And ciao for now. Ciao for now.